All right, we here. I'm not sure how we got to be here or how we got here, but we are here. And no matter what happens, I want you guys to know that you're going to be all right. And your best moment are always going to come from when you're the most present and you're working to keep what you got. Because the thing about results is that we can get results, but once we get the results, then comes the next part of the journey. And the next part of the journey is keeping what you got. And so, i.e., people will lose things or have things and lose them, right? And I think a part of that comes from the low vibrational behavior of invincibility when you feel as though I could take this loss. Don't get me wrong, like you do have to know when to take a loss, and we'll get into that. But the feeling of invincibility is kind of like when you're a kid. Remember you're a kid and someone can say to you, hey, if you don't pay this back, you'll have 20 years bad credit. It's going to be a curse of bad credit. It'll go to you and your family, and your mom and your sister, and your kids. 20 years bad credit. At 18, I can convince an 18-year-old to let me, have him risk 20 years of bad credit. Because he or she is too young to realize when you're vulnerable and when to recognize your vulnerability. Because because that's saying feeling of invincibility, if it goes too far or the lack of fear about the wrong things, it goes too far, you can wind up jumping in front of a bullet. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, I said to say that, competition is a good thing. And I encourage all the men, you got to realize that women are very intelligent in terms of understanding it makes more sense to make life easier. And you know how you can eliminate more work in a relationship is by putting the person in a position where they have to prove something to you or prove you wrong. Because listen, critiques can be very powerful. Now, if you're a person who's accountable, someone critiquing you can maybe bother you because it's like, man, I thought I was doing a good job. Versus if you're too egotistical, not egotistical, it's just that in terms of how you think, you don't expect criticism. It can feel like, oh my God, like I'm going to have to do this work. And a lot of times people don't want input or don't want to talk to a professional, someone knows what they're talking about, because they don't want to have to do the work. But anywho, in terms of the subject that we're going to get into today, what's about to happen is this is the new Black Love, right? And Kevin Samuels predicted this, and he had these conversations on his channel about how Black women don't think about competing for Black men. And the thing is, Black men don't catch on to the things that women will do to keep you from thinking they have competition. A lot of men don't think of the women as having competition. That's not, but men kind of have an understanding that you're always in, no matter what happens, you're always kind of in competition with your peers at least. All right. I.e., if you find out your friend is starting a gun collection and whatnot, it makes you think, I probably need to start a gun collection. And that wouldn't be a negative thing, because now you can protect yourself and your family more efficiently, and it's more of a matter of fact versus, if something happens, I'm gonna pump up and get us out of there. Nah, that would help you. If your friend is doing Muay Thai, you're going to probably go to the Muay Thai class now because your friend is there, and you don't want your friend knowing how to you don't want to be in a position where your friend can just jet Li your shit. You know what I mean? In the middle of an argument, you can't take it L to your friend, because we all men know I can't I can't be first of all, I'm not friends with nobody who could beat me up. All right, everyone I'm friends with, it's like a possibility. I'm not friends with no one who could definitely beat me, or at least beat me up easily. You know what I mean? Now, if I meet someone like that, we just ain't gonna be cool with that. Now I'll wave at you. You know what I mean? And we can have surface level conversation, but I'm not trying to get to know you. Cause like, yo, what like I'm always at your mercy. You know, it's like when like pretty girls for the most part are often not friends with other pretty girls. Just to eliminate competition. All right. But anywho. So going back to that conversation I'm talking about, for one, within the last couple of years, we realized how low the black man's self-esteem is. And even in my own lifetime, right? It's really hard for black men to not think or be happy not having a high body count or not feeling regretful for having more sexual partners. All right, but you know what? But maturity, right, is understanding. It's not really. It's not the amount of people. If y'all not having an amazing time, what difference do it make? If y'all not really vibing, because the whole idea is to enjoy one another. But anywho, I bring that up because of how black men define themselves between being a wallet and a penis, right? Because again, in these conversations, I heard a conversation earlier about relations, right? And every time black women talk about relations, it's always this acclamation of you better be amazing and you better be amazing. It better be great. You better do it. You better read my mind. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's not what it's about. But anywho, but what we've seen, well, or at least what I've learned, is how low my own self-esteem was, how I saw relationships, how I saw myself in terms of how I deserve to be treated. And I don't mean in no crazy way. I'm talking about just basic respect. Like modern men are at the point where like, yo, when you come across modern women, you can kind of just expect to be disrespected. Or they be, because you got to realize that if you don't have regard for that person's feelings and what they may experience as a human being, how can you say that you're a good person or a nice person? You know what I'm saying? So, anywho, so being as though a lot of black men grow up like this, a lot of black men don't really know what it's like, you know, to have someone who's kind of focused on them in a positive way. For the most part, the most focused attention a black man is going to get is mostly in a sexual way. He's not going to get it in other ways that really help. Women kind of mostly do that for guys who are never going to become anything, and they kind of do that because they like the idea of switching roles where they mold this guy to come into their frame and be the kind of man that she wants him to be. And don't get me wrong, you can support a man in his vision, but you can't do the work for him or tell him what he should be doing. He has to come tell you, babe, this is what I want to do. And you find out, how do you want me to support that? You know what I mean? Because that's the best way to you know, in terms of being with a man. You can't make him be the kind of man you want him to be. It's the same thing with a job. If you get hired by a company and whatnot, you can't tell them what your job is going to be. They tell you what the job is. They tell you what the responsibilities are. And you decide for yourself, am I okay with this? Can I do this? Then they decide, are they good for the job? Can they do this? You don't come in as a mailman and say, you know what, I'm going to be the master postman or the postmaster, the postmaster mates. I don't know what that is, but I don't think they should be calling that mailman no postmaster. I feel like they just sound like a white guy. Anywho, y'all, I'm gonna see how this drawing look when I'll play it back, man, because I got like these effects on and whatnot. I always feel like anytime I put effects on, that it's just not going to be good. I just feel like I think there's going to be some lag and whatnot. So that's why I keep playing with my hands. I don't know what to do with my hands. Where was you at when Talladega Nights came out? But anywho, I know I've been rambling for a while now. Listen, man, that's why I cut these drawings into smaller little bits, so you guys can really get to the meat and potatoes. Pause. Let's go ahead and play the video in question. Oh shit. And I'm gonna let it rock for a little bit. I'm gonna take this bacon out the air fryer. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to be doing. You do what you're supposed to be doing, and fair use. Yo, shout out to her, because I didn't have to look far for this. I didn't even have to watch the whole video to get to the most important part. Go ahead. I think her name is Soraya. Soraya.
What a weekend. I know we all woke up to my face on your newsfeed, which actually is a good thing. And it all happened because there is this one video that has went viral. Today, I'm going to respond to a couple of reaction videos. And as you guys know, a lot of them are good, but the majority coming from women, of course, are bad. Are you surprised at the insults? No. Are you surprised at the name calling? No. Are you surprised that some women are triggered? No. Why? Because they're the problem, not me. Before I get into the first clip, I do want to address and make it clear one more time that I never attacked Black women. I never attacked any woman. I never said anything against Black women. I don't even understand where all this hate towards me is coming from. I do have an explanation, but that's a different story. But as far as today, get ready, sit back, relax, because I will be cooking, roasting, stirring and frying, and eating these broads up one more time. Let's go.
This video is dedicated to that German woman who's on the internet in Black women's business. First of all, you're stupid.
Stupid. That is so childish.
I don't give a how many valid points that German woman had or if she was right or wrong. She don't get a chance to speak on Black women.
But here is the hard truth.
While some of you didn't believe me when I was talking to you about German women and their love for Black men, I already knew I had him because there was simply no competition out there for me. I was not loud. I was not screaming. I was not trying to, be louder than him. I didn't interrupt him because...
Oh! That's my boy, punk!
You got knocked the
Oh, you want something too, old man? Huh?
No. Get off your ass and get in this car. Boy, I don't know why you come down here messing with.
What's the point of your video? Don't you got a man? You trying to be a pick-me?
Pick-me?
Who you trying to be a pick-me to?
Insult after insult coming from a woman who is laying in her bed eating olives, not even fixed right. But I understand, as the great Kevin Samuel said, the characteristics of a low-value woman are insult, guilt, shame, and the need to be right. And what did we see in these past couple of seconds? Exactly that.
I've been tagged in this video multiple times. And initially I wanted to make notes because it's a lot, right? It's a whole lot. So I thought, well, I can sum it up for you in under 5 minutes. The main point, actually the two main points, but the first main point, if you start your video by labeling your husband average, you have lost every decency and respect from my side. And I know I'm not the only person that sees it this way because...
Woman, I don't know where you came from, but I see that you have tattoos on your fingers, and on your YouTube channel, you got your middle finger in the air and using that as a profile picture. I'm actually happy that I don't have your respect, because that would mean that you and I are on the same level. And honey, trust me, we are not. And when I say average man, I mean, yes, an average man, he deserves respect too. Yes, an average man, he doesn't have to come with a six-pack, making six figures, having a net worth, having a network. He doesn't have to be in my life, bringing all of these things. Still, an average man will deserve and will have my respect. You need to learn these things. Why do you expect a man to bring all of these things to the table when you don't even look feminine? Listen, you women, you need to learn from me. I'm here trying to show you how to do it, but you're too busy attacking me, turning around saying I'm attacking you.
And then to sit down here.
That's enough. And it's really interesting. It's an interesting time, right? But and I think I touched on this in another video, right? About, and I always touch on this about how Black men, we think like property. We don't think in our best interest. We don't even get into relationships and actually make sure, first of all, be clear about what we want to get out of it. Most Black men would see that as like, they wouldn't relate to that. Like, they would be a little nervous to demand something, to demand respect. Also, again, most men in general, especially if it's an attractive woman, especially if they could definitely, or if she's attractive, or they're having relations, it's hard for him to say, I'm good. And the only way you really could do that, you really have to, you have to have your own life. You have to have your purpose. Like real talk, until a man come out with some lofty goal, and until he gets closer to his faith, he comes to and he get his health together, and he acts with the future in mind. None of his decisions are going to really make sense. And we're also starting to see that in these conversations, right? When we have online, what we keep picking up on is that, yo, do women want a guy that's smart? Because a guy that's smart is not going to come into your life and just do whatever you want him to do, or you're not going to be able to change him and mold him into what you want him to be. He doesn't come into your frame, right? So, but anywho, we're starting to see a shift, and don't get me wrong. Listen, people who date interracially really don't make up for like that many relationships, honestly. But there is going to be an uptick. It's going to be a huge uptick, and again, we keep going over the economy plays a role, and also this is the first time that Black men have been in charge of their own PR, or have been able to put images of themselves out there that are positive, and also, you know, look at all this media we have on here, Black men sounding intelligent, making good points, and not sounding super duper ghetto, or not trying to sound like a hood nigga. You understand? So, and anyway, I also want to reference her point about average. I think what people have to understand is that when people do not speak English as a first language, I don't know, people act like they've never noticed someone, when they don't speak English as a first language, that they will use words. They'll use words that just maybe don't sound as appropriate or sound as good. So people who speak English as a second language, they're not always able to know how to elevate or express things elaborately at times. You know what I mean? You'll hear like Indian people, like kind of like twisting grammar around. You know what I mean? Like every nationality that doesn't speak English does it, where they say certain things or they'll say certain things in broken English. And then we probably sound the same way when we speak different languages, right? But what she's trying to say is that it wasn't an insult for her to say average. Average was never an insult. If I said your child is the average weight, you wouldn't say, what? If I said, hey, your child's the average height, your child's reading level is normal, or their comprehension is normal, is average, is normal, right? You wouldn't be insulted by that. But what she's trying to explain is that what's keeping y'all single is the fact that y'all don't want to build. You don't want to build a relationship. And let me tell you something. This is while another lesson I learned from battle rap. One of the lessons I learned from battle rap, right, is your expectation. What can mess people up in the battle is if they go into a battle and thinking of the battle line by line, and they don't have an actual performance or a point they want to get to. That's why like a constant punching style, it's not that it's bad, right? But if you're looking for crowd reactions and you're not getting them, it can slow you down, or you know, they may be coming too fast. Pause, or maybe you're going too fast. It depends on what time of the night. Depends on what you're talking about. Is it relatable? Do they understand? All these different things, right? But my point being is that when you think more of being a long distance runner versus a sprint, right? So for example, right, if you think something is a sprint but couldn't find out, it's going to be a long distance run, that can kill your spirit just because you're not ready to go the distance. And a lot of people, they think in terms of sprints and not laps. Like in my lifetime, right, I could deter someone or discourage someone by just telling them, you're going to have to do this, this, and this, and that will deter them from pursuing the thing they asked me about. Right? And you won't believe how many people never get anywhere because of that mindset. Even like I was thinking earlier, like with rappers and singers and artists in general, right? The main reason why you'll never make it is because you don't actually make a bunch of music. And also in this era, if you are artists who came out after 2005, and you don't have no reason, if you've been rapping since then, like myself, I'm about to give y'all like 20 projects because I got mad time to catch up on. And also, ain't nobody gonna listen. You know, that's the beauty of it. But when I get to that because again, that's how long it takes to make a great record. You may have to make 100 really, really good ones to get a classic record. But if I have the intention, I always tell artists, yo, put out 100 records, man, make 100 songs. You don't think that you'll get way better by your 100 song? That's the same as thinking that, yo, if I can do 100, I won't be stronger if I can do 100 push-ups. Or maybe I'll give you a better analogy. That's like thinking that I wouldn't get stronger over a year if let's say the most I can do is 20 at one time, right? If I do 200 push-ups 3 to 5 times a week, that's like me thinking that I'm not going to get stronger, or that's not me thinking that, you know what I mean? But anywho, but this is the importance of competition. When you're not ready to commit to something. I had a conversation earlier with my brother about, because he showed me a video about commitment versus interest. He said when you're interested in something, basically, you know, you're not really invested. It basically can stay in the intangibles, right? And no one can hold you accountable to things you're interested in. But when you're committed to something, people can hold you accountable. There's a timeline to it. You have a feeling about it. You know, it's going to keep you up. You know, again, now you're invested. Now you're trying to problem solve, because commitment makes you problem solve. Another reason why a lot of the women are not going to be able to get into relationships is for a few reasons. First of all, this generation is a generation of women, especially Black women, who were raised by women who were not prioritizing their relationships in a positive way, and also wasn't trying to make sure that either if she had a man, that you had a great relationship with this man. It was never about that. All right. So a lot of women who were raised by women who were single mothers, not seeing your mother in a relationship, not having your mother even give you the game of, hey, you want to avoid all of this. When I talk to a lot of Black men and women, I never hear them, they never say that their mothers gave them game to have a better relationship. You know what I'm saying? And you always see these things kind of repeat themselves. And that mindset, it has left Black love. Well, Black love doesn't really exist anymore. And now the new Black love is probably be the next generation of a lot more dating out. And what's going to happen is, and I heard this a long time ago about, yo, a Black man could go make a Black community wherever he goes. Wherever I go, even though I'm light skinned, I have enough melanin to go make more Black people. And if they also have melanin, it's going, you know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm trying to say? And so what's going on here is that, yo, she's not going to be she ain't the first or the last content creator who's non-Black who's going to come on here and talk about how much she loves her man. All right? And another thing, too, is that Black men are also responsible for making Black women think that they can get away with talking crazy to other people. And you're going to get more videos of white women. The fuck? Freaking flying here. Come on, y'all. My bad, yo. Freaking fly. Anywho. But I think it's quite interesting, right? To see how this is all playing out. And I'm trying to find a way to like kind of bring in this other video that I showed you guys before. But let's go ahead and watch that video again. It's a video of what's pretty much the inverse. It's a video of Black woman basically talking about a really romantic evening she had with a white man. And I spoke about it in a prior video. And what I spoke about was that there was a lot of things that she didn't say and a lot of things that she didn't touch on. And the point of the story was just that white men are better. And when he told the story, and this is a thing that Black men are starting to pick up on, is that whenever Black women talk about white men, dating white men, or whatever they're doing with non-Black men, they always bring Black men into it. We always mentioned. At the end of this video, you're going to hear her say that, I don't know, it's giving that Black men don't stand a chance. They can make this shit sound like a wrestling match. Said Black men don't stand a chance against the Italian man. One of the Italians. Let's go ahead and share that John real quick, man. Let's spin a clip. We'll bring it back.
Hold on, Aubrey, you came in hot. They're not giving the effort that we need. I was walking in the mall and this Italian guy approached me. That's different for me. 30 minutes later, I was like, I'm going to Eddie V's to have dinner or whatever. And he's like, okay, well, we can go together. We went to 2 spots. So we went to Eddie V's. I got my doggy bag. So we ended up going to a hookah lounge and we were just honestly just vibing. But for me, it was just his approach. It was different from what I'm used to with an African-American man. It's all the texting back and forth, the calling, the this, the that. He was very respectful. Okay, he didn't try to kiss me, hug me. He came in hot. It's given Black men do not stand a chance. And I would like to be in my feminine energy. Although I'm in law school and I plan to make my own money, I still want a man to allow me to be very feminine.
So, in that video, right, she's saying a lot of different things. I'm going to try to run through as fast as I can. Let's go backwards. She's saying that even though I'm in law school and I want to make my own money, I want someone that I can be feminine with. So, again, Black men have come to accept conditional femininity, and that's one of the reasons that what she said right there, the kind of guy that you'll want to deal with. I don't know why I think that men who are accomplished are not good judges of character. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, but what she's inferring is that she's building on pretty much the belief or trying to further the belief that Black men are not worthy. She's saying as a whole that Black men bring out the worst in her, right? Also, I think I specified in the other video. She never said they went on a date or he took her to dinner because if somebody paid for you, because if he paid for her, she would have mentioned and he paid for everything. He was so generous. She never mentioned him being generous. All she said was he approached me. She didn't say what he said. She never actually described anything good about him. She didn't say he was tall and handsome. She didn't say he smelled good. She didn't say he was dressed well. And maybe he was all those things. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But what she was saying without saying was that I didn't put him through the ringer. I made it easy for him. You a bald-faced lie saying that a Black man has never approached you respectfully. Right? Also, if he did say and do good things, she would have told you. Because she came on there to tell a story about what could have been her taking a white guy to lunch. And listen, I could be wrong. But we all know for the most part, now that we're listening to these stories, for the most part, when Black women get with white men, a lot of times they're pursuing them. They're either pursuing them or trying to come into their frame. And you know what I mean? Women are designed to do that. Women are designed to whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's always like always imagine like the Harlequin and the Joker, right? And how the Harlequin fits the Joker. Not that you want to be crazy like those two, but that's for the most part how a woman looks to come into your frame. Where like she wants to mirror you. She should want to mirror you. That's why this generation of women are so obsessed with being with someone who's already successful. Once again, it's nothing wrong with wanting to be with someone who's at a certain place in their life, but you have to have the long-term thinking and be ready for the long distance run. You know what I'm saying? Be ready to do the laps, not the sprint. Because that's not how success goes. Success is a lot of trial and error, a lot of taking losses, a lot of just messing up and realizing that you ain't got it yet. You don't got it right yet. You understand? But another reason why I bring that video up is because I want to read a few comments, man, real quick. One lady says, I love the fact that she's getting the attention that she feels she deserves. But what happens when you wash your hair? If you think the straight hair is gaining you this newfound attention, will your man love you with your natural kinks and curls? Will you ever truly be loved for yourself? Will you ever truly be allowed to be yourself? As a biracial woman, I'm not against dating whoever you love, but don't just single out Black men. You just have a type, and that's okay. But you don't have to put others down to be be honest with yourself. So let me see. Wasn't too bad. One other girl writes, she is really impressed with a white guy inviting himself along. Her expectation is so mid-bar. Somebody else wrote, the BM with the Black Men delegation proudly releases you to the Italians, and we take nothing back in return. You are theirs, man. Be blessed. Here we go. Love that for her, but black men, they can never make me hate you. Baby, they all the same unless he's meant for you. The approach may be different, but the ending remains the same. You know what? Let's go ahead and stop right there. Because actually, I heard a really interesting conversation today, and basically, I was listening. I was overhearing a conversation. It was a conversation between two women, and young. This girl's about 24 years old, and she's basically talking about it's a terrible relationship. I'm like, she's fucking terrible, yo. So I think she was at one point in the conversation. She's saying, yeah, he basically he was checking her about something, and the guy was holding her accountable about something, and like I think the other one, either she or the other girl said, yeah, I could have got you fucked up. I could have got you fucked up at so and so's house. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, God damn, this is someone you dating. You think about getting them beat up because he raised his voice at you? I think she did something wrong, right? And what else happened? Oh yeah, like basically she was basically insinuating that she was going to beat him up and put her hands on him, like very much like a slave. You know what I'm talking about? Like she basically was saying in so many words, like, who is he to be telling me what to do? And X, Y, and Z. Oh yeah, and I think at some point in the conversation she says, well, if you're gonna be acting like this, then I could have been with someone else, or I could have been with the guy I used to be with. And, and he was like, oh well, and she was like talking about it as if that's not a terrible thing to say. And again, a lot of black men, especially if she cute or she attractive, for the most part, black men, we make hip hop songs about basically accepting and romanticizing the terrible attitude of an attractive black woman. It's like she like yeah, she mean but she pretty. Like that's not a good life. She doesn't have to be mean. A lot of black men don't even understand the concept of she don't have to be mean to you. Like she doesn't have to like work against you. You know what I mean? And when I heard that, I felt so bad. I was like, yo, you don't realize well, for one, he don't realize that he don't deserve that. And that he can do better. Because somebody who want to put their hands on you and whatnot, right? Or someone who is offended at the idea of you being offended. You got to think about that. If someone gets offended at the idea of you being offended, it says a lot about how they feel about you. That means they don't really. And that person may genuinely feel like they like you. You know what I'm saying? But they really don't. They don't know how to care about you. And the other thing she said was like, yeah, I don't know how to tell him that I don't like him no more. And what women got to realize is that this is the end game of living of for one, not place a family first. Because if you're not trying to build a family, how you gonna choose a man correctly? If you don't want a family, it don't matter if you already got kids. First of all, you shouldn't be getting with a new man not prepared to try to have a child. If you under 40 years old, or unless you met a guy, he already got mad kids and whatnot, all right, cool. But you have to be prepared to do that. Just like, me personally, I am so good on my own, but I recognize what can come with having a family. And I understand, we got to get a home of our own. And we got to get maybe get a house maybe. Or figuring that whole thing out. I'm not going to say, well, I always have my own apartment. I'm used to paying this and this. Like, nah. Like, most men understand if I get into a relationship, I have to take on more responsibility and more bills. You know what I'm saying? And also your problems, your emotions, all that shit. But anywho, like, share, subscribe, man. I want to touch on this real quick. I don't really have that much to say. Maybe I'll talk more on it tomorrow, man. I just want to make sure I'm bringing some content and bring out value every day, man. I appreciate everyone who's watching. Be safe, man. Please love each other, man. And, build with who you can build with. If you got someone out there that care about you, man, you just stay with them. and work it out. You know what I mean? Because the reality is that you're not gonna keep meeting different kinds of people. We mostly date the same kinds of people, and you're not gonna have a different experience. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can change and whatnot, but an issue I'm also seeing is like, yo, there was you know what? Before I go, there was a time where like, yo, and a lot of black men think this way, that when we romanticize a woman's bad behavior and woman with bad behavior, because we always kind of think, oh well, if she act a little crazy, she'll be crazy in bed, and we'll convince ourselves that that little bit of pleasure is worth all the headache and unhappiness and misery that comes along with it, or comes along with the relationship or lack thereof. Mostly, for the most part, those people don't really have relationships. You're a person that they're kind of using one way or the other. And there was a time where I thought that, oh, you know, I need to be with a girl who's already like a freak, or I need to be with a girl who's super into this and super into that. I just need you to be somewhat into things I'm into that's good enough for me. That's the same as me judging the girl because she don't watch anime, or she don't watch a bunch of anime, and I don't want to date her because she don't want to watch anime. And the whole I don't like him no more mindset, or that he's giving me the ick mindset, it's going to be the undoing of women, because again, women are being undone by their desire to find a reason to reject a man, because of the rush they get, the self-esteem boost they get by being able to end relationships and separate from men. But again, that's a low vibrational behavior. Anywho, like, share, subscribe, man. I want to watch this drawing back. I hope that my the sound is synced up, man. But anywho, like, share, subscribe.